Hello there. Welcome to today's episode, all about Obi Wan Kenobi, my undoubtedly #1 favorite character from the whole Star Wars universe. I like him not just because he's a Jedi, but because he plays a very prominent role in the Skywalker sagas. He was born 57 BBY on the planet of Stujon, and when he was 3 years old, he was taken by the Jedi Order and trained to be a Jedi. First under the tutelage of Jedi Master Yoda, and then later assigned to Qui-Gon Jinn to be his Padawan. And with Qui-Gon Jinn, they went on a number of adventures. The most notable one being Episode 1, Phantom Menace. Really, Rodwell? Phantom Menace, yes, when there was the invasion of Naboo. That was about 32 BBY, and he went there as a Padawan with his master Qui-Gon Jinn to keep the peace against the invading armies of the separatist battle droids, led by the Federation, the Trade Federation Union, whatnot, and all that. Those guys, I like those guys, the way they talk. Princess Amidala, they're going to come to us. Quick, attack her. Yeah, those guys are funny. Yeah, so anyway, so in that battle that ensued, the Sith sent their representative, that was Darth Maul, or he was like, after them this whole time, and then he caught up to them on Naboo, and that's when we had the showdown between Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi Wan Kenobi versus Darth Maul, and Darth Maul overpowered Qui-Gon Jinn and managed to kill him, and then Obi Wan Kenobi, using his calm of thought and not using the rage of losing your master, managed to avenge his master and slice Darth Vader in half, killing him. And then he was appointed the title of Jedi Knight, and he could take on a Padawan. And they had just taken Anakin Skywalker to be trained, so Obi Wan Kenobi said, "I can train the boy," and I'm pretty sure he swallowed those words in the years to come, because Anakin was not an easy Padawan to train. He was hard-headed. He always had his own solutions, even though they weren't the ones prescribed by the Jedi Knight. They went on their own adventures, and then there came the Clone Wars, which was kind of inevitable because Palpatine was really playing all the chess pieces in the right move, and there were countless planet systems that were leaving the Galactic Senate, or should I say leaving the Republic side of the Galactic Senate and joining the Separatist side of the Galactic Senate. And then therefore there was the Battle of Geonosis, about 22 BBY. Obi-Wan was kind of at the center of that finding of the Geonosis droid plant, should I say. And that ensued a very big battle. I think it's like one of the biggest battles in the Clone Wars, the Battle of Geonosis, the first and the second one. There were two. Both Anakin and Obi-Wan were assigned to like different troops of clones. Obi-Wan became the general of the 7th Sky Corps or something like that, and his number 2 was Commander Cody, and they went on also adventures as well. I say adventures like as if it's la-di-da-di-da. No, it's not. It's pew-pew-pew. Oh, man down, medic. Yeah, and then what is next? So he was now general and all that, and in their mind they were trying to stop the Clone Wars by defeating Dooku and defeating General Grievous, who was the commander of the separatist droids. And so Grievous and Kenobi would butt heads like constantly, butt heads, until eventually he finally caught up with Grievous, and he like overwhelmed him with his clones, and they had a great battle. And Grievous does what he always does, he flees, and Kenobi pursued, and that's where the line
"Hello there."
General Kenobi.
General Kenobi, and they fight. And then Grievous saw, hey, Appa, things are tense, and he hopped onto his bike and he just drove off. And then Kenobi hopped onto this griffin-looking creature that couldn't really fly. It had the head of an eagle, but pretty much the body of a lizard and the feathers of an eagle. It made this high-pitched shrill, like, and I'm making a fool of myself. I enjoy these things about Star Wars. Ensues the battle, and then finally corners him on a platform, and he gets thrown almost off the ledge of the platform, and he's hanging on. And then Grievous is like, barreling down on him, and then he uses the Force to pull towards him a blaster, and then he blasts Grievous in the chest, because Grievous was half organic, half droid, so he blasted the organic part and he blew up. And Kenobi is feeling pretty chuffed. I've just defeated one of the top guys in the Clone Wars, and so, like I said, he's feeling pretty chuffed. We've basically ended the Clone Wars, and then Palpatine gives his Order 66, which means all clone troopers to turn on their Jedi generals and commanders and wipe them out. And he's feeling all high and mighty. And then Cody gives the signal to blast Kenobi, and then he's climbing on his lizard bird animal. They're scaling a wall. The lizard gets hit, he gets thrown off, he falls down the shaft into water, and then he just chills there until the clones think he's dead, and then he grabs a ship and goes back to the Jedi Temple, and he's thinking, what's cutting on? I was just attacked by my own people. And then he meets up with Yoda. They go to the temple, they find all these slaughtered younglings, everyone who literally was in the Jedi Temple dead. And he goes to question Padme, is like, where is Anakin? And then and in the process finds out that these guys were smashing booties, and and then he finds out where Anakin is, Mustafar, and then he goes to Mustafar, but Padme sneaks on board the ship without Kenobi knowing. He finds Anakin, and obviously they have that whole fight, and Kenobi is trying to fight to basically, if I can, I won't kill him. I just want to apprehend him and, try and resolve all of this. But Anakin is giving his all. Like, he's like, I am the only one leaving here today. Mow, mow, mow. And then they fight on lava, on these floating droids on lava. And then Obi Wan jumps off and lands onto the bank of there's like a lava river, and Anakin is chilling on top of the droid, and then Obi Wan's he's busy yelling, "You are supposed to be the chosen one. You are supposed to bring balance to the Force. You were meant to destroy the Sith, not join them." And then Anakin looks at him, and he's like getting ready to jump to him, and then Obi-Wan's like, "Don't do it, Anakin!" And then he's like, I have the high ground. And Anakin's like, you underestimate me, Master. And then he jumps. He tries to jump over Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan just does boom. Leg gone. He's now got one arm, which is already a robot arm because he lost it to Dooku, and he's just chilling on the ground. You are my brother. I loved you. And Anakin's like, I hate you. And then he catches on fire, and then Obi-Wan thinks that should be enough. I don't know why he didn't just end him out of mercy, because the guy's burning. I mean, who wants to die by burning alive? You know, that's probably like one of the two worst things to go. That and asphyxiation of any sort. Padme is about to give birth, so he goes and helps her give birth. She gives birth. He takes Luke. Yoda takes Leia. He goes to Tatooine, gives her over to Lars, and then he stays in the background as a hermit, hiding and protecting Luke Skywalker so that he's not found. Until R2-D2 shows up with 3PO with the message from Princess Leia to Obi Wan Kenobi. Luke finds it, goes and searches for Obi Wan Kenobi, finds him, plays the message. Help me, Obi Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. This Obi Wan here, Alec Guinness from episode 4, and his voice and Ghost were on 5 and 6, and also 8 and 9. So he decides to fight Vader so that everyone else can escape, and then he allows Vader to strike him, and he dies and becomes a Force ghost, and then mentors Luke for a little bit and tells him to go seek Yoda. So that's pretty much the life and the death of him, like in the major things he did. Then the underneath things he did. Did you know that he had 2, not 1, but 2 romantic interests, which are not allowed by the Jedi? The first one was when he was training to be a Jedi as a Padawan, Siri Tachi. And then his second interest was also blonde. I mean, we are seeing a Padawan here. Her name was Satine Kryze. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. Is Kryze. She was from Mandalore, and you actually see her in the Clone Wars. So when he first met her, he was a Padawan, and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon had gone to Mandalore to protect her from bounty hunters and all that such, because she is of royalty, so to speak. She was going to be the next ruler of Mandalore. And so anyway, he spent a year on the run with Satine and Qui-Gon. You're eating together, you are, sleeping side by side. So obviously he developed feelings for her after getting to know her and all that, because she too was like kind of like I wouldn't say a pacifist, but she's more of a peacekeeper, as Kenobi had trained to be. He's a peacekeeper. Jedis were peacekeepers of the galaxy. And after his mission with her, he almost didn't go back to the Jedi Order. He wanted to remain with her. But then he kind of like weighed everything out. It's like, nah, this is my duty. I need to fulfill my duty. And he went to become a Jedi. And they both say that they regret not giving themselves a chance. I mean, how sweet would that have been? And he later meets her in the Clone Wars when, again, she's having trouble with the other Mandalorian people, because they're factions of Mandalorian. They had formed their own group called the Death Watch, and they, just basically terrorized the rest of Mandalore and tried to take over power. And Satine was now the Duchess. And she was also defending her nation or her planet in not joining the Clone Wars or the Separatists. She wanted to remain neutral, and there were a whole bunch of planets that also wanted to remain neutral, so she was representing them. And the Jedi sent Obi Wan Kenobi because he's fond of her. Or they didn't know that he was fond of her, but because he knew her and she would trust him as a representative from the Jedi Order. He was trying to encourage her to join because the use of the military in this struggle was deemed necessary in order to preserve the peace of the galaxy. And she was like, are you hearing yourself right now? So and you could see on screen that they have this whole like tension between them, not just romantically, but also they challenge each other a lot. Like one will come up with a very good point, the other will be like, yeah, but what about this? And they'll just go back and forth and back and forth. And at some time he had to actually physically protect her because there were these assassin droids that were sent to try and do her grievous, fatally harm. My English is spot on today. Yeah, and then so that was his babe. Even and like Anakin could sense that there was something between them, and there was a scene when he was fighting the droids on this side, and then he's like, "Go help your girlfriend," and then he's like, and Obi was like, "Right," and he's like, "She's not my." Oh, never mind. So cute. That was squashed, and she still remained neutral and represented a whole bunch of planets that remained neutral. And the Jedi went back to their business. But at some point later on in life, they resurfaced someone who they thought was dead, Darth Maul, who Obi-Wan had sliced in half at the battle of the invasion of Naboo, basically 10-12 years after he killed Maul and the Clone War started. And then he reappears and he goes to Mandalore because he wants to get an army for himself. So he went there and he joined forces with Death Watch, and they took over Mandalore and they kind of held Satine hostage and all that, and the Jedi came to rescue, with who leading the charge? Obi Wan Kenobi. They fought. Kenobi. He was a very good general. He was known for his negotiation tactics. He was very mindful. He was a military strategist. He was a great pilot. Although he says that he doesn't, he's not fond of flying, but he was a great fighter pilot. If you watch the movie, there's one thing that really annoys me sometimes, or a lot of the times when I watch it, is Obi-Wan Kenobi's beard. In episode 2 and episode 3, there is a drastic change. In episode 3, it is spot on. It's lovely. It's nicely trimmed. It's, flowing. Beautiful. You go back a little bit to episode 2. My gosh. I'm sorry, but they did not do a very good job on episode 2, the beard. With that being said, he was a great duelist. He wasn't, the greatest of all time, which people seem to linger on all the time when they watch the movies, because he often swept aside by a foe, especially when he was fighting with Anakin. Like when they fought Count Dooku on both attempts. Obi-Wan would always be swept to the side and injured, and he couldn't continue, and Anakin would have to carry on the fight. And there was also the time when they went to rescue Chancellor Palpatine at the beginning of episode 3, and Obi-Wan got knocked out by Count Dooku, and then Anakin finished the duel, killed Count Dooku, rescued Palpatine, and carried Obi-Wan on his shoulders out the room until they got onto the elevator, and then Obi-Wan woke up and he's like, "What did I miss?" Those two have got like some of the comical interactions, and it just makes his character that much better towards me. I could sit here and talk about a lot of interactions between him and Anakin. Not just Anakin, but there's also him and Count Dooku, Yoda, Mace, Cad Bane when he's fighting his enemies, Grievous, Hondo Anaka, so many people. He had great use of the Force. You see him at times using the Jedi mind control. And the one guy tried to sell him drugs, and he was like, "You don't want to sell me drugs. I don't want to sell you drugs. You want to go home and rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life." And he goes. And then, most notably, on episode 4, this is Alec Guinness now, when Luke and the droids are trying to go past a stormtrooper checkpoint, and the stormtroopers are on the lookout for droids, R2-D2 in specific, because they know that he has the plans for the Death Star. And Obi Wan Kenobi is like, "These aren't the droids that you're looking for. These aren't the droids that we're looking for. The boy can go about his business. The boy can go about his business." And they went. Obi Wan Kenobi. Obi Wan Kenobi. He is my number 1 rated Star Wars character, and I hope I have done him justice in explaining a little bit about him to you, because I tried not to take up too much time. And on that note, I'll be seeing you, my friends.